Hey Aquarius, it's Chronic Joy Tarot, and this is going to be your reading for September 2017. I'm on a schedule of doing 2 readings a month, so this is going to be for, how you set your month going forward, and then I'll be back mid-month for a little update. But at this time, the oracle card that I pulled for you that's going to give us a theme to focus on for our development this month is the card of wind activation. This comes from the Earth Magic deck by Stephen Farmer, and it's a beautiful card, and given that you're an air sign, I love it. Okay, time for some action, time for movement, even in the slightest ways. Okay, because we know that on the planet, when you get wind, right, when the wind is picking up, whether it's just a slight gentle breeze or a big strong powerful almost frightening wind, wind has a way of rearranging things, right? It rearranges, it clears, and it allows space for newness, for new things to start, fresh starts. So right now for you, Aquarius, it's time for a little action. If you've been feeling stagnated in any area of your life, a relationship, or a goal that you're trying to reach, then it's time to take another step. And it may be a tiny step for you. It may be a big sweeping, 180-degree kind of a movement, but it is time for a little motion, a little action. Okay, your starting point here is fighting. This is where you are now, and this could be the result of the buildup of that sort of frustration and feeling like you're not making progress. This is definitely a card of the mind, saying that there's either an internal battle with you, or maybe you're in a standoff with another person. I'm not quite sure for you, since this is a general reading. I can't be certain, but there is a sense of stagnation and no real movement. And so, of course, the card of activation, the wind card, is definitely called for now, because this is your starting point. So, and this could be a very, very slight internal energy that maybe you've got a battle going on within your own mind, or it could be a literal physical, not physical fight, but a in your external world, sort of a standoff or a situation where you're not seeing eye to eye with another. I'm sort of getting that for some of you, this is like a point of frustration, because you have a goal that you want to reach and you're in a point of frustration and you're not sure how to move forward because you can't really see what's coming, right? You don't know what direction to go because you have no idea how it's going to turn out, how you're going to get to your goal. But you will, right? If you can let go of that need to hold all the energy in place and find a way to make a shift, even if it's the slightest internal shift. Okay, well, your first internal card is about shifts. It's the Thunderbolt card. An internal, this is a hidden energy. This is an energy that's within you that maybe others don't really see or aren't aware of. And it's time for you to shake up a little bit, shed some of your old ways, your old responses, your old perceptions. Become aware of the way you're responding to situations, because at this point it may have brought you to this place where you feel a little stuck. So be aware of that. Be aware of how your perceptions and how your responses to others and to situations have held you in place. Okay? Time to shed some of it. I'm not saying, total transformation overnight, but find, a little aspect of yourself that is no longer serving you and that you can do away with. It will serve you well to do a little bit of self reflection at this time. And then take action to, I don't know, let me bring up a pretend story here. Let's say that you love blueberries. And every time you eat blueberries, you, I don't know, you get a stomach ache. So now the next time you have a craving for blueberries, you tell yourself, do I want that stomach ache? Or do I want to go through that pleasure of, you know, tasting those delicious berries and sort of taking them in and eating the whole pack, the whole box of blueberries? This is what I mean by just the awareness before you respond mindlessly, which holds you in this place of feeling frustrated and not getting anywhere. Before you take that first response, you know, make a conscious decision and know, last time I had this response, last time I ate blueberries, I felt really sick or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And sorry about the blueberry analogy, it just was almost meaningless, but I hope you understand what I was getting at there. Okay, and by making these shifts internally, you'll feel better, but the focus needs to be more on you, your intentions, your alignment with what you want, less about anybody else's input or anybody else's thought. Yes, so in your external world, people make, and if you make these shifts and focus more on your internal releasing of some of this fighting energy, it may show up to others that you are holding back, or that you are, well, you're definitely going to be changing because you're setting that intention internally, but careful that on the outside, others don't see it as, oh, well, you're not yourself anymore, or you're not as, you know, you're not as forthright, or you're not as giving, because this miser card is saying, you know, holding all your riches and all of your internal, you know, beauty isn't always going to serve you. So I guess this is trying to say, strike a balance between making your own personal shifts to the and changes to the responses you have to situations, but staying as open and present and aware of others as you can. It's a fine balance, but these internal shifts are key. The movement there that you set forth within is key. Okay? The next internal card, the card within you, this is an emotion card. And this is funny because I'm thinking, if this whole spread, when we first started out, brought to mind for you a certain goal that you have, then this card makes a lot of sense. This card is the dream. This is saying, you know, these preconceived ideas that we have and that we're taught, that, you know, life is a certain way, it's a certain path. You grow up, you know, do certain things to achieve status in society, and maybe you get married and live happily ever after or whatever. This is not really a sweeping reality for everybody. Life doesn't have a end picture, right? There is no real end to your journey. There's sort of a see how they're the happily ever after figures are sort of holograms. They're not real. They're in this woman's imagination. So that's why it's important, because if it is this goal you have in mind and you've been on track so far to get toward it, but you feel like you're not really moving fast enough or not really getting anywhere, it's time to sort of transfer, and this is another internal energy, transfer the idea that it can only come about one way. Let go of that, because what you're going after and what you dream of and desire can come in many different ways. But sitting still and staying frustrated about it without taking movement will definitely get you nowhere. You'll never reach that outcome. But this card is cautioning you to not stay too stuck on, you know, one exact picture of how your success looks and feels. Okay? Externally, in your, oh, look at this, I love it. So this is guiding you to have a little more fun, a little more sense of playfulness in your day-to-day life, right? And the wind, the movement card, the card of action goes right along with that. It's like, for a minute, know you're doing the internal work, but for a minute, get out there and have fun. It's totally in contradiction to this one too, the one where we talked about how people may see you as holding back. So fight that urge. You will be doing the internal work. You can even just declare, I'm letting go of this patterned response that I have. Just declare it. And then, in your day-to-day life, have some fun. Make part of your action some fun, some playfulness. Make at least, an attempt to let go of some of that internal struggle and get out there and release in a purely physical, playful way. Okay? You're guided to trust. This is your the outcome or the arrival of your new awareness internally, and that is the card of trust. This figure is just soaring through the air. Doesn't know where she may or may not land, but pretty much trusts. A cloud might come along and soften her fall, or a wind breeze might come along and keep her floating for a little longer. She's not too afraid. She trusts that her path is right, and everything that comes about it will guide her further down the path. There's a real transformation going on here internally for you, Aquarius, and it starts with this feeling of getting nowhere. Okay? You are getting somewhere every single day, every time you take a breath. But shifting your responses to things just slightly, little by little, it's going to bring you to a really, really nice, higher place of understanding. And the outcome of all of it in your world, in your life, will show up as an adventure. I love how these two cards go along. I love how it starts, your external energy starts out with, I'm making changes, but I don't want anybody to really know, right? Well, okay, you may not want to share those changes with them now, but the changes are occurring and they are bringing you places, so why not just drop off and have a little fun for a minute, right? Because then you create new movement, you create new possibilities, right? If you can take every moment of your experience and realize the wonder of it, how beautiful it is to be here, to be alive, to have the choices to make, and to know that if I transform myself within, my outer world's going to follow, and it's going to become fun. It's going to become expanded, wide open. I'll be moving right toward that rainbow world, right? Okay, so Aquarius, this is for the first few weeks of September, and I will be back mid-month to check on you and give you an update. But for now, I love it. Leave me some comments and let me know how this connected with you, if it calls to your spirit or not. All right, thanks, Aquarius. Bye.